All right, so here's an example of an AI automation workflow using Make.com that involves Google Drive, ChatGPT, and some Google Docs as well. So before I put together any of these workflows in Make, unless it's a really simple like two-step workflow, I like to put together these briefs simply because otherwise my brain cannot process what's going on. I'm not the brightest light on the Christmas tree. So I need to always refer back to these briefs so I can be like, okay, what's the next step that I need here? What do I need to integrate? All that kind of stuff. So here in this case, we're doing a new email sequences for new email subscribers. And here we just want a high converting email campaign. So here's the workflow. Review and analyze performance of past campaigns, and then create a document with that reporting. Outline a new plan for optimizing and writing new emails. Create a document with the plan. Write new emails, and then create a document with the emails. So then automation and assistance. Automation will be done through Make, and then assistants are going to be the email analyzer, email strategist, and email copywriter. So these assistants do need to be built out inside of ChatGPT first. So that would be like an example over here. They're put together literally like exactly just like a custom GPT. The difference is that you can get more advanced with them, but if you know how to build a custom GPT, you can build an assistant. And so then here are the instructions and tasks that each of the assistants will get so that they can complete their job. That way it's just copy and paste once you bring all of this into Make. So now we move over to Make. First step is picking a trigger. So there's a lot of triggers that you can go ahead and select. For me, just the simplest one is uploading a file, in this case, a spreadsheet. So here, you do watch files by create a time, and then you're choosing your drive, and then you're choosing the specific folder you want for that. Sometimes you have to go a couple of different layers to choose the specific folder, and you want to look, you want it to tell it to look what type of file you want it to look for, right? Because obviously there's Google Docs, Google Spreadsheets. So in this case, we're picking a Google spreadsheet, and then just keep it at a limit of 1. Otherwise, if you try to do multiple, it could get messy. I've honestly never even tried that. I wouldn't want to try that. So then next step is to make an API call to Google Drive. So in order to do that, you have to use this text string right here. And then you have to choose the file ID. So basically, if you have just this right here, you just have the brackets and then click file ID, and then that's all you need for that part. Right there, method, get, key, content type, value, application /JSON. These are default, so you don't really need to mess with them. And then here for the query strings, you want to change these to MIME type and then text /CSV. And then next step, you want to actually start messaging your assistant. So this is going to the very first assistant, the email data analyzer. So you select that from the drop down right here, and then you give it its task right here, the specific instructions you want it to follow. You pick the model GPT-4. As of right now, you cannot use GPT-4o. The best you can do is GPT-4, but I'm sure that'll change in the near term. And then over here, you want to choose file ID. So it's going to, what this is doing here, it's going to pick the file ID from this step over here. So basically you're telling it, take a look at the file over here, and that's what you're going to consume. And then you want to select code interpreter. And then here are the instructions, which in this case are kind of like the role of the email data analyzer. You're an expert email data scientist, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. For some of these steps, oftentimes you have to click on show advanced settings to see them all, like you can see right there. So if you're not seeing some of these, just make sure that you choose the show advanced settings option right there. So next step is for Google Doc to create a document with the summary of from the email data analyzer. There we go. So then you give it a name for the file. So webinar analysis 4, and then you choose name from over here, right there, name. And then this is how it's going to be titled for when it uploads this into the Google Drive folder. And then for the content type, you want to select content text value. So if you go over here down to, it would be, yeah, here we go, the content menu that you can see right here. And then you just select type right there, and it will spit this out just like that. So I can actually just do an example, right? So there it is, exact same thing. I don't want two of those though. So I'm going to delete that, but that's what that looks like. And then you choose My Drive, and then you want to choose the same exact, well, you don't have to choose the same exact folder where you uploaded the spreadsheet to. I like to do that just because I want to keep everything in one place. And then these should be both no by default, but just double check and make sure that those are indeed no. Then next step, now it goes on to the email strategist assistant. So here is the task. Again, this is all kind of pre-planned from the brief that is put together. So that is just copy and pasted right there. We're choosing the email strategist. We're using GPT-4. We want code interpreter. And then here is the role that we are giving right there. So very similar, almost identical to what we saw for the step back over here. Then for the output, email strategy 4, once again, file name. So you just click on that right there, and you can choose the file name. That would be way down here. Boom, right that. So again, you're just telling it what file to grab from the previous step. And then here, once again, you want content text value, content arrow here, and then you click on text value right there. So just like the previous step. And then choose the drive, all the same stuff right here. Make sure these are all no right there. And then the penultimate step is you're calling on the email copywriter. So here is the task. So basically it's telling it, okay, you're going to take the information from all the previous steps and make me some new emails is what this is summarizing to. And sorry, I did forget to mention, actually, I think in the previous step as well. Let me double check this. Yeah, so analysis content, you also want to do the content text value down here as well. So it would be no different from what we did in the previous steps. Content, text, and then you choose value. That's what you want to put there at the very end. And so we're doing that right here as well. You pick the assistant, model, code interpreter, instructions, boom, and then final step. I mean, here we're kind of just kind of repeating ourselves, but email campaign 4, name selected from here, and then content text value, just like in all the previous steps, My Drive, choose the location and all that kind of stuff. And then, okay, so this is the workflow from beginning to end. So I'm going to go ahead and run this. I'm going to pause this simply because it does take about 5 minutes. So I don't want to bore you by just watching this proceed, but I'll click. Oh, actually, no, first, I forgot to put the spreadsheet. So here's the spreadsheet with my email data in there, and there's the folder I've been selecting throughout this whole time. So then I'm just going to drag this and I'm going to drop it right into there. Now this will run automatically. It goes every 15 minutes, as you can see right there. But again, I can also manually tell it to run. So I'm going to run this and I'll show you the results afterwards. All right, so it finished running. You can see all of the completed steps over here on the right-hand side. So now if we actually return to the folder right here, email automations, we can see all of the documents that were produced. So here's the analysis 1. It first summarizes what it finds inside of the data, highlights what went well, areas of improvement, and recommendations for improving sales metrics. And then, so the next one is the strategy. So here it's just outlining, okay, cool. So for this campaign, we want to use this subject line. This should be the preview line, and then this should be the opening hook. And then here should be the call to action. Subject line, preview line, it just keeps on going down like this. So this is kind of the outline of the strategy that the copywriter then needs to follow. So then if we open up the copywriter one, email campaign, here are all of the completed emails with actually multiple subject lines that we can choose from, multiple preview lines that we can choose from, and then the actual body copy, and it spits it out into multiple emails, right? Email 2, 3, 4, 5, and looks like that's all it gave me right now, which is totally fine. So yeah, that's the breakdown of how to put together this type of sequence inside of Make, and this can be done for anything really, whether it's ad copy, landing page copy, whatever it might be, as long as social media posts, as long as there's a specific trigger and some data that it can start off with, you can have limitless possibilities with these types of workflows.